Good morning and welcome to Full Circle Ozarks.
We're making progress. We're getting the purlins cut up. The lift that we got rented is being a little bit cantankerous. The battery is low, so hopefully it'll charge up overnight and we'll be back in business. So in the meantime, I'm having to move around with everything plugged in. The telehandler that I have rented has to go back in early the next morning. So I thought I'd better take a little bit of time and set the purlins up on top of the roof. So this is what I'm doing now. If you notice on this end of the shop requires 3 purlins. You'll see the tabs up there. So I'm going to use the telehandler to get those set on the roof, and you'll see a little bit later where I will then get on the scissor lift and attach a bolt in the outer edge of the purling so it can still pivot. The reason I'm doing this, I need to set the 3 more purlins on the other end of the roof, and then they all get bolted together at the same time to make a more rigid structure. So it was interesting just taking a little bit of time with the telehandler and raising them up there and eased them forward. You can see the mounting tabs there that I'm just passing over there. Once I got it pretty much where I wanted, I set the 3 purlins down on the first tab. And you'll notice they kind of slid just a little bit until they touched that tab, but then I was able to go ahead and lower the telehandler. But the shop building itself is coming along pretty good. Now I have Blue, the inspector, is coming over to take a look to make sure that I'm staying safe and I'm doing everything proper. The funny thing, when Blue sees me looking up and looking at different pieces of the building and all, he'll watch my reaction, and if I'm looking up, a lot of times he'll come and he'll try to look up and see if he can see what I'm looking at. So he's quite the companion on the build site there. So he's taking a tour over on the other side so he can look at me, and then you can't see him very good right now, but he's actually looking up, kind of watching my eyes, and he's looking up to see what's going on there. So I have really enjoyed having that dog. He's a lot of company out here on the homestead. Very smart dog. As you can see now, I'm lowering the purlins. And you'll notice here in just a moment they'll slide down just a little bit until they catch. Right there, they're just about to catch. They just called, I believe. Now I can lower the telehandler. So we got it lowered down. We'll back it up and get it out of the way. That telehandler is actually fun to drive. It has some, they call it articulated steering. So it will allow you to steer with all 4 wheels at the same time. And while I'm still in the telehandler, I'm just positioning it over on the other end of the building, getting ready to set the last 3 purlins up on the building there. So we'll just kind of get it positioned, and then I'll be switching gears and jumping in the scissor lift to finish setting those purlins into position. It had been pretty hot out, so I finally set that little canopy up out there, and I can keep tools under it. Had a couple of chairs that we sit there, so occasionally I'd get out, take a break, and just sit under the canopy and kind of plan my next step. And of course that gives Blue an opportunity to sit there at my feet and look up and like, "What's up, Dad?" Takes a few moments to kind of get things moved around a little bit and get ready for the next piece over. Yeah, got to move my chair. That's my office out there now. I started not to film this part, just kind of doing a little bit of cleanup, but you know, that's what a person spends quite a bit of time doing, moving cords around and so forth. So that's all part of the build. But now it's time to get into the scissor lift and maneuver it and go up and grab those beams. Just changes the direction of it, and what I'm able to do then as I raise the scissor lift up, I can just set those beams on the scissor lift, lift it a little bit higher, and it just takes a lot of the manual effort out of it. You'll notice now I've got the beam setting on the scissor lift itself. So I'll lift it up a little bit higher, and then I can travel in the other direction, and you'll see where that particular purlin needs to be dropped down and bolted to those flanges there. Need to kind of stand it up and get it in place. And those purlins are not overly heavy. I'm able to take one of the purlins and pick it up and carry it around, but that is a little over a 20-foot span there that I'm working with, so it was easier just to be able to take the scissor lift and lift it up and get it into position. And again, what I'm doing, just kind of getting it in place, and then the west end of the building, you'll see me maneuver over there, which that's what I'm doing now, kind of maneuvering over there on the end, and I will stick one bolt through that that mounting bracket once I get into position, just so it will force it to stay in place, and I will just hand tighten this bolt here, and I will do that on all three of the purlins on this end, and the other ends will just temporarily just rest on the mounting brackets. It's kind of hard to explain part of the process here of putting the building up, but I just decided I would take it one step at a time, and this is the first time I actually have built a metal building of this type, so it's a little bit of a learning process, but it's something that I've enjoyed a lot. So, well, I got those all three set in place, as you can see there. I just didn't want to bore you with doing all of them, but I've got those set in place, and now we're setting the other 3 in place. And this end of the building, you'll see there's already one piece of metal up at the very top, so I have to lift up over the top of this. And what I chose to do at this time, I just kind of get them in place, and I just leave them on the telehandler for a moment, and then I pull them right off the telehandler and put them in place. That one support metal, a support beam at the very top, it's a very rigid beam. I think that beam there was like 400 or 500 pounds. And so once you put that in place, then that really makes that end of the building very, very stout, very rigid. Well, as you can see, I've got those up there. I got back in the scissor lift, and I'm going to repeat the process here. I'm going to attach a single bolt on the most westward end, and it'll just be loosely tightened there. And then right in the middle of the shop, where I'm driving over to now in the scissor lift, there's like 6 bolts, and there's like a 18-inch overlap of the purlins. So I have to work to align those holes and then attach them to the bracket. This is where I use the spud wrench that I've referred to in a couple of videos ago. It's like a crescent wrench with a sharp point on the end of it, and I can stick the spud wrench in there. Now that all the purlins are up, I'm just going right into putting the girts up. And I was able to use the tractor for this. It worked out very easy there. Again, the girts are about the same weight as the purlins. For those that may not know the difference, the purlins are on the roof. The girts are on the sides and the ends of the building. And as you can see, Cotton Top come out to check on me and offer some help, so I definitely appreciate that. So we'll be getting the girts attached. I think I have that one left and one more left that we'll be putting up. Well, Cotton Top and I are making quick work of getting these girts reattached. She's able to hand me some tools, and she jumps in there in a few spots and really helps also. But it is kind of awkward sometimes trying to get the bolt started, and the other end kind of wants to move on you, and also I definitely appreciated having her there to help me. That meant a lot. We got the other girt set in place. Now we're doing this one. She's kind of watching the gap there as I ease this one here forward. Pretty tight fit there. And of course Blue is right there checking things out. She's grabbing the bolts and all for me and saving me a lot of steps. Actually, by this time of the day, I had begun to get a little bit tired walking on that concrete anyway. So I definitely appreciate the help. So we get those bolts in there, get them loosely attached, and after that, then since all the bolts are loosely attached, there's some cables that has to be put up overhead, and once we get some of those in place, we'll go back and finish tightening the bolts up. But in the what you see here is where we're actually putting the last girt up, and we're just snugging the bolts down, getting things into position, and we went around on all the girts and got all of those snug down. So this kind of wraps up installing the girts. You see in the background, all the big metal is up. We've got the purlins up on the very roof. We got the girts up around the both sides. And what we are going to be focusing on today, you see the very end here, we have to stand up a place where we can put a potential door here in the future. Right now, there's not going to be a door, but I've got it framed out so we can have a door. So we're going to be putting this up on the back side. And then on the other end is where the garage doors is going to be. We're going to be getting all that framed in today and getting all the metal up for that. So anyway, we're going to get started here in just a moment, and I'll be giving you an update from time to time. Here's an update after the day. This morning I had mentioned that we were going to be working on the framing for the front door and the back door, or not back door, but the back of the shop. All of that is up. The cables are up, the tension cables. Everything is done for this part, with the exception, I'll be putting a man door in right there. And so I still got to put the man door in. And
The man door is going to go right.
Yep, that's the man door location. Do I need to have a woman door over here? Just kidding, just kidding.
Well,
But anyway, I was so pleased with the way that this came together. This was the second day that I had some help out here with me, and so it's nice to have some family members close by that was offered to help. So we was able to get all of this here done. We actually had 2 work days to get it to this point here. Now, I've done a little bit.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit by myself.
Because a lot of the days it was so hot you couldn't spend very much time out here, and then I came out a few days and supervised while he was in the scissor lift because I didn't want him out here by himself.
But if you remember, though, we talked about the foundation wasn't totally square, and that I thought I had a plan to solve that, and it turned out good. So that building, it went up totally square anyway, so
Yeah.
in spite of the foundation. So.
Well, I'm excited because I think in a day or two, probably the sheet metal will be going on it.
Yeah, we got to get the sheet metal up, and I went ahead and bought the regular insulation for a red metal building, and a red iron building, rather. Yeah. And I'm getting ready to, my mind tells me I need to flip-flop, so you need to tell me what you think. I've about decided I'm just going to spray foam it. So I've asked for some bids. I'm waiting on the bids to come in, and so I may take a day or so off while those bids come in. But I think I would prefer to have it spray foamed. So we just got to see where the bids come in at.
Yeah. But I was gone all day today, and they got a lot done. It looks really good. You're such a hard worker.
Well, folks, but before we say goodbye, tell them how many eggs we've been getting again.
We've been getting, so one day we've got 16 chickens, and we wasn't sure if we had any roosters or not, but then one day we got 16 eggs, so we have all girls, and so we get between
12, 14 a day, maybe?
Yeah, at least. So. At least 12 to 14 a day. So I love getting eggs, so we're going to go down and get those in just a minute. And let's see, we've got 6 bar rock, 6 Rhode Island red, 2 lavender, a buff Orpington, and a leghorn. And they're all doing really well.
And they seem to be pretty happy chickens. They're really beginning to be pets more than anything.
And we let them free range during the day. And if you know of a way to keep them off the porch so they don't go poo on my porch, I've got figured that out. I had read some, and they said like a sprinkler because they don't like to get wet.
So
I don't know. We'll see.
well, folks, we're going to wrap this video up. It's been kind of a long day, but thank you so much for taking your time out of your schedule and watching our videos. It means a lot to us. So we're going to sign on off here, and we'll see you again on the next Full Circle Ozarks.
Bye-bye.